2022 was a great year for horror, kicking off new series like Ty West's X trilogy, closing out existing ones like David Gordon Green's Halloween, and delivering some fresh standalone scares like Parker Finn's Smile. And if we've learned anything from these flicks, it is the value of excellent casting. 2023 is also shaping up to be a strong contender in the genre, with the return of horror classics like The Exorcist, adaptations of well-known properties like Five Nights at Freddy's, and original projects like Night Swim. Casting is key, and in these cases, we think they've got it spot on. So, with that in mind, I'm Ellie with What Culture, here with 7 upcoming horror movie castings that have us excited. Number 7. Tatiana Maslany in Green Bank. Tatiana Maslany hit the ground running with sci-fi thriller series Orphan Black back in 2013, in which she played 17 different cloned characters. And she has hardly stopped since, including recently drawing equal parts acclaim and ire from online Marvel fandom for her portrayal of fan-favourite comic book character She-Hulk. For our 5 cents, her casting in Josh Ruben's Green Bank is a win. Not to be confused with Spike Lee's least favourite road movie, Green Bank is currently in pre-production and will follow an infant sleep trainer, because that's a thing, who uncovers a strange secret about the parents of the child she's working with. The script situates the action in a US town where, conveniently, Wi-Fi, phone service and radio transmissions are forbidden. But not a whole lot more is known at present. Maslany's foray into horror may have been few and far between recently, but she has her roots in the genre, starring in a string of them around the beginning of her career, including George A. Romero's Diary of the Dead. Having been lost on rom-coms and dramas in the last few years, it will be great to see Maslany bring some of the range she displayed on Orphan Black to the silver screen, with a director whose recent efforts, such as 2020's Scare Me, have comfortably straddled multiple genres. Number 6. Matthew Lillard in Five Nights at Freddy's. You might not have known you needed a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, but it's coming anyway, and who better than Matthew Lillard to star as primary antagonist William Afton. Granted, it's not as good news as hearing James Gunn is getting the old Mystery Inc. gang back together, and he's not, by the way, but we'll take it. If the jump scare silliness of the original video game is anything to go on, Five Nights calls for the kind of horror-comedy blend that Lillard so skillfully delivers when given the chance. The actor's turn as Stu Marker in Scream set the bar high, and it's only thanks to decades spent being pigeonholed as a slapstick comic relief and endless voice castings for Scooby-Doo animated films that he hasn't been in a whole lot of horror since the 90s. As if Lillard's casting wasn't enough, Five Nights will be produced using animatronics from Jim Henson's Creature Shop, meaning the creatures won't just be jangly CGI apparitions, but fully furred nightmare fuel that might mean we can never look at the Muppets the same way again. Number 5. Katherine Waterston in They Listen. This generation's Ripley, English actor Katherine Waterston entered the Alien franchise in 2017's Covenant, and at the same time, wisely stepped back from more significant involvement in the disastrous Fantastic Beasts series. But Ridley Scott has taken his sweet time putting her back in front of a xenomorph, and in the interim, the actor has been missing from the horror landscape, leaving us feeling a little lost. But sometimes, in the big old world of film, producers can hear us scream. Waterston will soon be back on our screens in new Blumhouse horror flick They Listen, helmed by Chris Weitz. Weitz may not have a strong pedigree directing horror. His last and only flick even remotely in this genre was 2009's Twilight New Moon, but the studio certainly does. And Rogue One, which he co-wrote with Tony Gilroy, demonstrates his ability to craft a strong female-led genre feature. The film's plot is currently one of the better-kept secrets in Hollywood horror, but They Listen will put Waterston with John Cho, whose career rehabilitation in a post-Harold and Kumar American Pie world is continuously on the up, and who will make an interesting counterpoint to his co-star's consistently excellent dramatic heft. Number 4. Lewis Pullman in Salem's Lot. Son of actor Bill Pullman and dancer Tamara Hurwitz, Louis Pullman has had some serious sway since the beginning of his career. But far from being a silver spoon nepo baby, the actor has proven in a short time that he may just have what it takes to make it on his own. Starting out in 2017, he has starred in fewer productions than Nick Cage does before breakfast. But his supporting roles in Bad Times at the El Royale and Top Gun Maverick have left us keen to see more. And more we shall see. Pullman has been cast in Gary Doberman, writer of the Annabelle and It series adaptation of Stephen King novel Salem's Lot. Starring as troubled writer and King facsimile Ben Mears, Pullman will be leading the picture, providing his first real opportunity to lead a major studio production. His one horror credit to date is the unfortunate Stranger sequel Prey at Night, but hopefully Salem's Lot can expunge his record and put his typically reassuring presence to work as a steady beacon at the core of King's unique brand of scares. Number 3. Ellen Burstyn in the Exorcist sequel. Thanks to the variety and range of her work, we all associate Ellen Burstyn with various different periods and roles. But the one unifying element of her career is surely The Exorcist. As Chris McNeil, Burstyn provided an in for the audience and brought a mother's love to what was once upon a time one of the most revolting things ever committed to film. Now she's back for the first time in 50 years, starring in David Gordon Green's upcoming Exorcist sequel. But there's already been an Exorcist sequel, we hear you cry. Well, there had already been 7 Halloween sequels before Green got his mitts on that series. So there. Presumably picking up 50 years after the events of the first film, where the clergy managed to exorcise a demon spirit from the body of Chris's daughter, Reagan. A new family must call upon Chris's help for their child to survive a similar affliction. What with this being the first film of a new trilogy, we can hope, fingers crossed, to see much more of Burstyn in the coming years, although we wouldn't put it past Green to bump her off at the start. He's been known to do it before, let's be honest. Number 2. Jamie Campbell Bower in True Haunting. Jamie Campbell Bower has been no stranger to the big screen in the past decade and a half, having starred in Sweeney Todd, Twilight, The Mortal Instruments, and as young Gellert Grindelwald in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. And yet, he may be best known for his TV work, having put everyone's nose out of joint and garnered overwhelming critical acclaim as Vecna/Henry Creel, primary antagonist of Stranger Things' 4th season, and string puller extraordinaire since the very beginning. Soon we will get to see Bower leading his first horror film, True Haunting. Currently in post-production, the film tells a version of the real-life story of the first televised exorcism, an NBC news segment that only worsens the horrors faced by the Beckers, a small family trying to find peace in their new home. Bower and the boys Erin Moriarty play the Beckers, and this unholy union of 2 of their respective TV series' biggest stars is shaping up to be the next major event in horror cinema. If Bower's multifaceted role as Vecna and Henry Creel is anything to go by, he'll be crawling up the walls in no time. Number 1. KERRY Condon in Night Swim. KERRY Condon has been a star since 1999's Angela's Ashes, and yet most of the world has been sleeping on her in the years since. Best known of late for The Banshees of Inisherin, the actor has nonetheless been in a roster of films as diverse as Unleashed, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and the Avengers series as Tony Stark's second AIPA, Friday. Regardless of her credits, the creatives behind Megan, Jason Blum and James Wan, have seen fit to include Condon in their next horror feature, Night Swim. Set for an early 2024 release, the film will centre on a mysterious source of terror found around a home swimming pool. Though Condon has some experience working in the genre, flicks like Bad Samaritan, in which she plays a kidnapped woman who is tied to a chair or locked in a cage for the majority of the film, have hardly allowed her to showcase her skills. But Night Swim offers a serious opportunity to turn this around. Though it's still uncertain whether she will be starring as the victim or the villain of the piece, the fact that there's room for either is testament to Condon's abilities. We will be following the production with peeled eyes whichever way it goes. And that concludes our list. If you think we missed any, then do let us know in the comments below. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe and tap that notification bell. Also, head over to Twitter and follow us there, and I can be found across various social medias just by searching Ellie Littlechild. I've been Ellie with What Culture. I hope you have a magical day, and I'll see you real soon.